Hi, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Books and Beaches. So, normally I would not be filming my monthly release videos sitting at my desk, but March of 2024's book releases are wild. This is probably one of the longest lists of books that I have talked about in the entire time that I've been on YouTube. So, normally I sit in front of my shelves behind me here, and I am sitting on the floor, and I just knew that by the time I'd finish, my legs and feet would have probably fallen asleep. So I figured it'd be easier if I sat here at my desk. Then I would have both my monitors in front of me so that I could give you all of the descriptions about all of these books and just be a little bit more comfortable in the process of that. So, like I said, this is going to be a long one because I tried to cut it down, but there are just so many good books with so many popular authors coming out in the month of March, as well as some new debuts or debuts in new categories that I just really felt like I wanted to talk about. So, grab a snack, grab a drink, and hang tight because, like I said, this is going to be quite the long one. As always, though, I will have everything linked down below. So if I don't give you enough detail on some of these, you'll be able to check it from the links below. So let's go ahead and get started because, like I said, this is going to be a long one. All right. So I do have my monitors in front of me. I actually just got a new setup, which is kind of exciting. So March 5th is our very first release date in March. And this is definitely the date that is the heaviest when it comes to book releases. So the very first one that I found coming out is The Summer That She Went Missing, and this is by Chelsea Picasso. And I believe I've talked about some of her books before. I believe I've talked about Dead Girls Can't Tell Secrets. I don't think I've read it, although I did just see one of my students reading this one the other day. And this says, last summer they searched for Audrey Covington. This summer they'll search for the truth. So it's going to be, I think, your typical, YA summary thriller, which coming out in March is kind of perfect because, let's face it, by the time I might actually get to this one, summer will be upon us. And because we have such a long list today, I'm going to try not to go into too much detail with these, but it basically looks like, we are going to discover some secrets, and they are going to, enter a world that is far darker than our main character has ever imagined. And if our main character isn't careful, she might be the next girl to vanish. So there is that one. All right, moving right along, we have Expiration Dates, and this is by Rebecca Searle. Now, I know she is quite popular for In 5 Years, which I have not read, but I have read One Italian Summer, and that book I did quite enjoy. And the tagline on this one is, being single is like playing the lottery. There's always the chance that with one piece of paper, you could win it all. Isn't that the truth? So, looks like we have a main character named Daphne, and she believes that the universe has a plan for her. Every time she meets a new man, she receives a slip of paper with his name and number on it, the exact amount of time they will be together. Oh, that's an interesting concept. With one man, she finds that she's gonna doubt, like, that paper's prediction, and it's going to be a gripping, emotional, passionate, and yes, heartbreaking novel about what it means to be single, what it means to find love, and ultimately how we define each of them for ourselves. It says this is going to be one fans have been waiting for. So that could be, a romance book that might actually be right up my alley. I know, shocking. But all right, also coming out on March 5th, we have The Hunter by Tana French, or Tana French. I never quite remember how it is. But this one, I don't think I've picked up anything by her, even though Audrey has been telling me that I should. She has been claimed to be one of the greatest crime novelists writing today. This is going to be a spellbinding new novel set in the Irish countryside. It says, it's a blazing summer when two men arrive in a small village in the west of Ireland. One of them is coming home. Both of them are coming to get rich. One of them is coming to die. So I don't want to read too much more into it. Like I said, especially with thrillers, I don't want to know too much more. But it does say it's going to be an atmospheric tale that explores what we'll do for our loved ones, what we'll do for revenge, and what we sacrifice when the two collide. So that sounds excellent to me. So one book that is probably one of my more higher anticipated books of this year, because it is an author that I have loved most everything that they have come out with recently, and that is Murder Road by Simone St. James. And this one says it's going to be a young couple finds themselves haunted by a string of gruesome murders committed along an old deserted road in this terrifying new novel. Let's see, it's based in July of 1995. Ooh, I love a good 90s book. So a couple takes a wrong turn. They're looking for a small town resort to spend their honeymoon. And they appear to find a lone hitchhiker on this deserted road, so they stop to help. But not long after the hitchhiker gets into the car, they see blood seeping from her jacket and a truck barreling down towards them. So I don't want to read too much more, but I have loved like Simone St. James' recent stuff. I haven't read a lot of her backlist things. And a lot of times we always get kind of like a paranormal aspect to it, so we'll see if this one has that or not, but it definitely am excited for that one. I tried to get that one on NatGalley and got turned down. I was so bummed, but can't win them all. So there's that one. Like I said, we're keeping going on March 5th. We have The New Couple in 5B, and this is by Lisa Unger. This one is, let's see, a couple inherits an apartment with a spine-tingling past. It says it's going to be unputdownable. And let's see. They are barely making ends meet in New York City when they receive life-changing news. A late uncle has left them his luxury apartment at the historic Windermere in glamorous Murray Hill, which I'm assuming must be like a prominent neighborhood in New York. And it's the epitome of old New York charm. But it does have a dark history, lurking behind its perfectly maintained facade. But like, they just start noticing a lot of weird things happening. So, I don't know, we shall see. But love a good like creepy story. And I have enjoyed other things by Lisa Unger before. It's been hit or miss. But like Last Girl Ghosted, loved that one. So we'll have to see about that one. All right, now one that this author, I think a lot of people are probably familiar with, but this is going to be a debut into nonfiction. And this is I Promise It Won't Always Hurt Like This, 18 Assurances on Grief. And this is by Claire McIntosh. So I think a lot of people are familiar with Claire McIntosh's like mystery books. But like I said, this is her debut into nonfiction. And it says it's going to be a deeply felt memoir of unfathomable loss and infinite hope. So I don't want to know like too much going into this because nonfiction, I feel like, well, first of all, the title is kind of like self-explanatory, but I think it'll be quite interesting to see what she does on the nonfiction side of things, since we're so used to seeing like these like powerful thrillers and mysteries on the nonfiction or the fiction side of stories. Because, and now of course I can't think of, as I look at my shelves, like, did she write Hostage? I'm almost positive that's what it is. But oh, so it says, I guess one trigger warning that I should mention in here, it does say she did lose her 5-week-old son. So there could be some like infant loss in this book. So that might be something to know before you go into this one. So there's that. All right, moving on. We have Listen for the Lie, and this is by Amy Tintera. I was lucky enough to get this one on NetGalley. I just haven't picked it up yet. This is quoted by Stephen King as being a world-class whodunit. So this could be interesting. Ooh, and also Laugh Out Loud Funny by Leanne Moriarty. So, okay. The tagline here says, "What if you thought you murdered your best friend? And if everyone else thought so too? And what if the truth doesn't matter?" So, and I didn't know too much about this one going into NetGalley because this is a link that got sent to me. So, and the first sentence, super intriguing. "After Lucy is found wandering the streets, covered in her best friend Savvy's blood, everyone thinks she's a murderer." I don't want to even know much more than that. So we shall see what comes of this one. And the last bit of tagline on here, it says, "The truth is out there if we listen." So there's that one coming out on the 5th. All right, after that, we have another one that I think has been highly anticipated, and I think a few people that do like Book of the Month predictions have predicted that this could be a Book of the Month release. And this is By Baby and by Carola Lovering. And it is a March 2024 Indie Next and Library Reads pick. It says, "Every friendship has its shadow." On a brisk fall night in New York City, a 35-year-old Billy West hears terrified screams. It's her lifelong best friend, Cassie Barwell, one floor above, and she realized her infant daughter has gone missing. Billy is shaken as she looks down in her own arms to see the baby, remembering, with a jolt of fear, that she is responsible for the kidnapping that has instantly shattered Cassie's world. So, I don't want to read too much more into it, but I can only imagine where this one is going to go. So, another one from March 5th there. All right. After that one that is a popular series that has come out in the last couple of years. This is the 4th book in the Finley Donovan series. This is Finley Donovan Rolls the Dice by Elle Casamino. And I have read the first 2. I have yet to pick up the 3rd one yet. That is on my list of things to read this year because I do really want to continue this series. And then I believe there's also like is it book like 3.5? Because I think Vera, who's a character from the first couple books, got her own little novella. So this is book 4. So I don't want to read too much into it. Just because if you haven't read the first 2 books, or first 3 books, I should say, I don't want to spoil anything, but in our first book, Finley Donovan, she is at, it's either like an IHOP or Panera, talking to her book agent about writing a book where, it's a mystery thriller book, and someone assumes that she is actually like a hit person and hires her to kill their husband. And she says okay, and her like nanny go about attempting to do this, and things kind of go from there. And so the whole series is just this like crazy, mystery ride from there. And so this is book 4 in that series, and yeah, so we will see what antics they get up to in book 4. So that will be coming out March 5th. And yeah, we're still going. We're still on March 5th. Like I said, March is quite the month. All right. This next book is actually the 2nd in a series. Now, this is a series that I haven't picked up yet, but this cover is absolutely gorgeous. And this book is This Could Be Us, and this is by Kennedy Ryan. And I believe this is book 2 in what is only going to be a duology. I believe the duology is called Skyland. So I am not super familiar with the first book. Let me just click and look here. The first book was Before I Let Go. So I don't want to read too much into it, but I just wanted to give the heads up that this 2nd book was coming out on March 5th for those of you that were interested. All right, another one that I discovered, and this was an author I don't believe I have heard of before. This is Like It Never Happened, and this is by Jeff Hoffman. This says, decades ago, 4 friends concealed a deadly secret, but not all lies stay buried in his psychological suspense. Love those. For fans of Ashley Winstead and Allison Galen. So when you tell me that a fan of Ashley Winstead is gonna like this book, that's like dinging, ringing in my ears. So I definitely wanted to put this one on my list. It looks like we have these friends that are graduating high school. They say they're almost like brothers until the night they did something terrible. And they decide to keep that hidden, what they did in the parking lot, and it shatters their friendship. And so now, they're going through all this stuff. It looks like we have a friend, that's addicted to heroin. He drives his motorcycle into the side of a truck. And unfortunately they find themselves at this man's funeral. And now one of their wives knows everything. And so apparently this man paid for everything, paid for his life to keep the secret. And this wife wants them to pay, basically. So they are forced to decide how far they will go to keep their secret. So that's kind of a mashed up way of explaining that one, but it sounds interesting. So there's that. All right. One that I kind of kept seeing everywhere, so I wanted to add it to the list, is Women of Good Fortune, and this is by Sophie Wan, I believe. And it's set against high society Shanghai wedding. So I was a huge fan of Crazy Rich Asians, and sorry about that lovely noise. It's a nice day in Wisconsin, which means everybody is firing up their motorcycles and taking them out of the town. So this one is set in a high society Shanghai wedding, a heartfelt, funny, dazzling novel about a reluctant bride and her 2 best friends, each with their own motives and fed up with the way society treats women, who forge a plan to steal all of the gift money on the big day. So I think it sounds fun. What a adventure to kind of go on. So I definitely wanted to add that one to the list. And then the final book coming out on March 5th. Like I said, super crazy long. We have the Breakup Vacation. And this is by Anna, I think it's Gracia. And it says, this is the summer before senior year of college, and Grace is about to make the worst decision of her life. And it's going to be a sexy, sun-drenched cocktail of chaotic good fun and heartfelt hilarity. What a description. And it's going to capture the messiness of your early 20s, while highlighting the necessity of girlfriends at any and every age. So I thought that was a fun one to kind of add in at the last bit of the March release. And I'm wondering if it might end up being part of like a series, because it does have like a beach house thing mentioned after it. So like I said, that is the last book that I found coming out in March 5th, I should say. So take a sigh. Like I said, that's a lot. So we're gonna take a moment, because wow, it's a lot of books. Now, the second half of March is a little bit slower, but there is still quite the list of books that we have coming out. So our next date is March 12th. And the first book that I found coming out on March 12th is by an author that I've talked about before, and this is The Other Lola, and this is by Ripley Jones. I believe this is YA, and so this is actually the sequel to the other book that I believe I talked about. So this is the sequel to Missing Clarissa. So it's about what happens when the people you love the most are the people that you can trust the least. So I believe I read Missing Clarissa last year, but I don't want to go too much into the description just in case you haven't. So like I said, I'll be linking these below. So if you have read it or you are interested in checking this out, that information is going to be down there for you. All right. Another one coming out on March 12th is Still See You Everywhere. And this looks like it is the third book in a series. It says a Frankie Elkin novel. This is by Lisa Gardner. So I am wondering if this is more of just like a detective series. So I'll have to check on whether or not you actually have to read them in order. It says it's going to be a harrowing new thriller. Frankie Elkin is an expert at finding the missing persons that the rest of the world has forgotten. But even if she couldn't have anticipated this latest request to locate the long-lost sister of a female serial killer facing execution in 3 weeks' time. So that sounds like, you know, quite the experience. So, like I said, I am not quite sure if you would have to read these in order. I'm assuming with a book like this, you may not have to, just because they're probably based around the same like investigator. But if you know and you are a fan of Lisa Gardner, let us know in the comments below, just in case that's information that we need. But otherwise, it sounds kind of interesting. So there is that. Another one. Now this book I could only seem to find, I think it is only coming out on audio. And this is One of Our Own, and this is by Lucinda Berry. And like I said, I think this is only an audio special, but it says a suicide prevention hotline volunteer answers a call that turns her world upside down. And it's going to be an edge of your seat audio original. So that would answer the question there, Amber. Yeah. And it's going to be a multi-narrator production, which I always love. So I don't want to go too much into this because it actually only looks like it's going to be like 3 hours and 54 minutes. So reading too much of the description could give too much away. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I am wondering if it's going to be Audible exclusive, but I guess we will find out. So if you're a fan of Lucinda Berry, that will be coming out on the 12th. And then finally on the 12th, we have Watch It Burn, and this is by Kristen Bird, which I had not heard of this novel until Audrey had started talking about it. Audrey from Chapter and Converse, obviously. I had started talking about it on her Instagram. And so this says it's going to be 3 women work to uncover the scorching lies and scandal behind a self-help movement igniting a powder keg of secrets, oh, that's a description, that could blow their town apart. So it's going to be a suspense novel, and they say it's perfect for readers who love a Southern mystery. So, ooh yeah, small town Texas. Let's see, we have an elementary school teacher, and yeah, something sinister has been smoldering beneath the surface of their picturesque hometown. So, could be super interesting. And the cover is actually really neat too. So that is coming out on March 12th. So that's it for March 12th. Not too bad. All right, March 19th. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. On March 19th, the first one I have for our list here is Good Half Gone, and this is by Taryn Fisher. Now, this says Irish Walsh saw her twin sister Piper get kidnapped. So why does nobody believe her? If that isn't a great tagline, I don't know what is. So it says, Iris narrowly escaped her pretty popular twin sister's fate as a teen. Kidnapped, trafficked, and long gone before the cops agreed to investigate. With no evidence to go on but a few scattered memories, the case quickly closed. Now as an adult, Iris wants one thing, proof. But the police won't help, and she just has to find her own way. So, let's see. So she is going to intern at basically a hospital for the criminally insane, which is where all of the secrets are lurking in the shadow and kept under lock and key. Ooh. So, and she soon realizes that something even more sinister is simmering beneath the surface, and the patients aren't the only ones being observed. That sounds super interesting. So that is coming out on the 19th. Another one coming out on the 19th is another one of the books that is on my most anticipated books of the year. And that is Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. I do have this one on my Kindle ready to read. I just have to find the right time to do it. Hopefully that'll be soon. I gotta stop setting so many goals for myself and projects for myself, because then I could just read whenever I wanted to. But this one does say, for fans of The Silent Patient and Gone Girl, two fabulous books, a razor-sharp and Hitchcock-inspired psychological thriller about two ordinary women who make a dangerous pact to take revenge for each other after being pushed to the brink. So, I don't want to know too much more. I have loved Steve Kavanaugh's writing. I have told so many people to read the book 13. Like, so many people. So this says, you know, this book is going to keep you breathless until the last page. And I just can't wait to pick this up. So if you want to know more details, like I said, I'm going to link it below. But just so excited. I cannot wait. And I have seen reviews that I've like tried to like ignore what the reviews said, but they've been super positive, so can't wait. All right, one that I can't even remember how I found this, but I was just, you know, I'm looking to diversify these lists, and so I found this one, and it is Flirty Little Secret, and this is by Jessica Lepe, I believe. And this says it's going to be You've Got Mail meets Abbott Elementary, which everyone tells me I should watch being a teacher, but I just haven't yet. So in this sweet, sexy romantic comedy for fans of Lynn Painter and Lyssa Kay Adams. So this must be two like more romancy authors. So it's going to feature a school counselor, and it says she has a secret. It says to her coworkers, friends, and even family, she's shy, sweet, and constantly struggling to hold off disaster. But online, she's bold, confident, and always knows what to say. Because she's a widely popular, like, social influencer, like, counselor. So, let's see. And it looks like, you know, she's going to find someone to connect with, and she's not sure she can trust them. Can they both find the courage to share the truth and step out from behind their screens? So, thought it was just, you know, cute little romantic comedy to add to the list. So, all right, another one that I kind of kept seeing all over in different places, and this is The Divorcees, and this is by Rowan, I think it's Beard. It's such an interesting concept. It is a debut novel set in 1950s Reno, and they're at a divorce ranch. So it says it's the complex friendship between two women who dare to imagine a different future. So they basically like discover they're not happy in their marriages, and so they go to Reno, Nevada, to this place, and they, you know, they're living with these other like would-be divorcees for 6 weeks, because it's the state's only divorce requirement. They spend their days riding horses and their nights flirting with cowboys. And then let's see. Yeah, it says set in the glamorous, dizzying world of 1950s Reno, where housewives and movie stars rub shoulders at gin-soaked casinos, The Divorcees is a riveting page-turner and a dazzling exploration of female friendship, desire, and freedom. So, just thought it was kind of a different one to add to this list, and I kept seeing it in different places, so I wanted to add that one there. Another one from an author that made the rounds, I believe it was either last year or the year before. And I read their last book. It wasn't my favorite, but I think it was more popular for other people. And this is The Mystery Writer by Sulari Gentile. And this one says it's going to be a literary thriller about an aspiring writer who meets and falls in love with her literary idol, only to find him murdered the day after she gave him her manuscript to read. So, let's see. It says there's nothing easier to dismiss than a conspiracy theory until it turns out to be true. So, I don't want to know too much more. I think it might have been the last one, like where I struggled, where it was more literary than thriller, but I know it got a lot of positive reviews from other people, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. So there's that. And then finally, the last book that I found coming out on the 19th is a YA book, and this one sounded interesting. It's called Cancelled. This is by Farah Penn, and it says, with its clever snark and searing perspective, Cancelled is a funny and fearless novel about the realistic pitfalls and unforgettable moments high school has to offer. Perfect for fans of Jenny Han and Emma Lord. So it looks like it's going to be based on a high school senior and kind of all the things that happen with, senior years. So just thought it was something different to throw in there, especially for my fans of YA. So, all right, we are finally at our last release date in March. And for those of you that are still with me, thanks for sticking in here. All right, only a few left, I promise. But like I said, they are just so good. I couldn't not share them all with you. All right, one that is another one of the most anticipated books of the year, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to this book. This is Everyone is Watching by Heather Gudenkopf. Now, I have loved almost everything by Heather Gudenkopf that I have read. This one says, ooh, it's Big Brother meets Clue. That's a unique thing. And it's going to be a locked room mystery. Oh, I love locked room mystery. It's a mysterious high-stakes game proves life-threatening. So it says the best friend, the confidant, the senator, the boyfriend, the executive. So 5 contestants have been chosen to compete for $10 million on the game show One Lucky Winner. The catch? None of them knows what or who to expect, and it will be live streamed all over the world. Completely secluded in an estate in Northern California with strict instructions not to leave the property and zero contact with the outside world, the competitors start to feel a little too isolated. So, when long-kept secrets begin to rise to the surface, the contestants realize this is no longer just a reality show. Someone is out for blood, and the game can't end until the world knows who the contestants really are. That sounds so good. I can't wait. I can't wait. So, March 26th, here we come. I will be on vacation, but I'm still so excited. All right, another debut that I found coming out on March 26th is Off the Air, and this is by Christina Estes, I believe. All right, the fun part about having a lot of books to talk about is I have no idea where my phone cut me off because it ran out of storage. So that is totally my fault. So I believe I was talking about Off the Air, which is a debut novel by Christina Estes. So basically we are going to get I believe it's going to be a local TV reporter that is splitting her time covering some general assignments and some special projects. And she wants to make sure she is the first one out there reporting. And she is determined to be the person that goes out and solves this murder. She's like the first person, that's out there solving this story. It's an investigation that could make or break her career if it doesn't break her first. So I'm not exactly sure, what genre this one is going to fall under exactly. It does say it's going to be a mystery, so we shall see, but I thought let's give a debut a shot. So that'll be coming out on March 26th. And just a couple left here. So we have one of my fun favorite series that I've been enjoying reading, and this is The Good, the Bad, and the Aunties. This is the third book in the Aunties series by Jessie Houston Tanto. I have read the first two. They are just kind of a fun, like, I guess you would call them like cozy mystery series. I don't want to say too much more about this one, but the first one is all about, so our main character, Maddie, goes out on a date and suddenly finds herself, and it's not like the greatest date, not the greatest situation, and then all of a sudden her date is dead, and her aunties and her run like a wedding business, and all of a sudden her aunties are trying to help her hide this body. So loved the first one, love the second one. They're great on audio because you're kind of getting the different accents of the aunties, and so I can't wait to see what they get up to in this third one. So there is that. And another one, I believe this is a debut. This is Like Happiness, and this is by Ursula Villarreal Mora. And this is it says it's going to be a searing debut about the complexities of gender, power, and fame, told through the story of a young woman's destructive relationship with a legendary writer. So, set in 2015, it looks like. Our main character's name is going to be Tatum, and she feels like her life is going to finally fall into place. Oh, she's living in Chile. She loves her new life because it's helping her forget the decade she spent in New York City orbiting the brilliant and famous author. And so, but she gets called for an interview, and the author has been accused of assault, and so the interviewer is asking her to like confirm her story, and so she's kind of told, you know, she's forced to like re-examine this time, and so it looks like it's going to be told in a dual narrative alternating, my goodness, between her present day and letters from the past. So just kind of a unique idea and a unique debut story that I thought would be interesting to mention. And then last but certainly not least, we have Day One, which is a novel by Abigail Dean. And this says it's going to be an examination of a community devastated by a school shooting and the truthers who deny it ever happened. And within that, that story is a girl who's hiding what she knows about what happened that day. And that's a quote from Sherry LaPina. So I've said it before, like, I don't ever want to say school shootings are like a buzzword for me, but they do interest me, and, you know, I take an interest in them because of, you know, where I work and working in education. And so this one definitely caught my eye, and yeah, I had to add it to my list. So those are all the books that I have found coming out in the month of March. This by no means is a complete list, although yes, I know it was a very long list. Clearly, my phone even cut me off from filming. But if you know of any others, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I always like to know about anything else that's coming out. As always, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.